Hello, my name is Karen Harris and it's April the 24th and I'm in Avenue in Little Ilford in London, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the jacket that I made as part of the Orientalist project that Elta ran in 2018, based on the work of John Frederick Lewis in conjunction with the Watts Gallery in Guildford. Um, we usually work on hugely collaborative projects, but Sonia very graciously allowed me to have a go at making something on my own, as I was so taken with the Paisley shape and its many forms that it can take, because it's limited only by your imagination. The jacket took more than a year to make, and each individual Paisley was made separately, as you can see, and then I hemmed them and then I stitched them onto the jacket. The Paisleys are in different sizes, different orientations, so some face to the left, some to the right, some are mirrored, if you know what I mean. They're alternate mirror images of each other, and basically I had absolutely no idea what each individual Paisley was going to look like. I didn't pre-draw out any designs. I just took the shape, took a piece of fabric and started stitching, and I had no idea how they were going to end up, and the designs just grew organically as I was stitching. And they are all unique and they all use different colour patterns, designs, and I actually think that they all have, but this is just me because it is mine, each one feels different. It has a different atmosphere, and I think that's probably because the medium, particularly the medium and the large ones, took a long time to make. So I actually invested a lot of my time and my emotions, if you like, in the piece. So they actually felt like part of me, which sounds a bit strange. The smaller ones didn't feel quite the same. So if you look on the collar, there are lots of small designs. Again, they're all unique. And actually looking at it now as I'm talking through it, it's like meeting old friends. It's a very strange process. It's almost like I'd forgotten them, and it's like meeting people that you haven't seen for a long time and you go, oh yes, I remember. It's a very strange thing, but I think embroidery and sewing and creativity can be like that. So I would make them, some days I would stitch a lot, other days I wouldn't stitch at all, and then I'd come back to them. And I wasn't entirely sure what I was going to do with them. I just knew I was going to make a garment of some description. And then I remembered that I had this old white linen jacket that I bought in the 1990s, and to be honest, didn't ever really wear very much. And it was just under the bed. And I thought it's absolutely ideal for this project, and ideal to sort of upcycle and customise with these Paisleys, and can also be worn as a part of a costume if anybody wanted to. The Paisleys are, as you can see, all on the front. They also run down the outside of the sleeve. So when you're actually wearing it, you can see them more clearly than we're showing now. So they're down the sleeves, they're on the cuffs and the collar, and if I just turn it around, there are Paisleys also on the back. There. And when it comes to the Paisleys on the back, the three at the bottom, along the bottom, are the biggest of them all. And when I had finished making them, they took a very long time to do. And when I was designing the layout of the Paisleys, I had absolutely no idea what to do with them because they kind of stood out. They didn't seem part of the rest of the Paisleys really. And then I decided to put them across the bottom, and I think it works really well because they're all of a similar colour palette, sort of rusts and greens, and also they are all stitched on the same silk fabric. So that's another thing about them, that they are not all stitched on the same fabric. I used offcuts. So there's blue silk on the front, there's this beige russet silk on the back. And if you look at this one and this one, actually no, this one, this one, this one and this one, they are all stitched on a white background, and they were more difficult to design. Actually, I found it more intimidating is too strong a word, but harder to design them because I kept feeling that the background was showing through. So comparing that one, for example, to the one below, it looks more, to me, it looks more sumptuous. To start with, I only used a very limited colour palette of reds and blacks, but also because the background is a darker colour. And I was a little bit concerned about that when it came to the process of stitching them on. Which ones look good next to each other, which ones wouldn't work, and then also the whole design of where to stitch them. And that is the last part I'm going to say. If I turn it just back over again, I just want to say a little bit about the process I underwent to actually get them onto the garment. So if you look at the way they are stitched onto the front, it's not at all symmetrical. I did play around with that as an idea, so to have one there that matched one here. But because they're all so individual, and because they are all in different orientations, that process wouldn't work. Then I thought of having all the large at the top going down to small. That didn't work. So the whole process of arranging them and pinning them on, I must have done it 100 times, and it took me over a week to do. It was hanging on a hanger on my lounge door, and it was there all day, and I would look at it, decide whether I liked the way they were pinned on, and then probably change it. And then I finally decided on this one, which I am happy with. So even the pockets down here, I started with stitching them on the pockets. Just the way that they are stitched on, these two pockets, took me an incredibly long time. I was turning them around, reorganising them until it was exactly how I wanted it. Just one more thing to say. I think the colour green for the buttons really works because they stand out without detracting from the Paisleys. And to finish it off, I did a 3-colour herringbone stitch. And again, for that, I did 3 or 4 little practice pieces in different colours to see whether that would work. And the bit I like probably the most of all is at the bottom on both sides. I did, if I can hold it straight, I did individual little sort of lotus shaped flowers in different colours, so it's the same design in different colours, just to finish it off. So that is my Paisley jacket, and I hope